We'll get started here in just a minute. I'm kind of laughing to myself. I'm sorry. I'm distracting my own self because I'm remembering what I was thinking about 3 or 4 in the morning. And it's kind of funny now, but you may not find it so funny, but that's okay. All right. Are you ready? Okay, hang on. Let me go to YouTube really quick. We can knock out this episode really fast. All right, hang on. Let me go here. Let me see here. All right, here we go. We can knock out this episode really. All right, let me go here. Turn that off. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't think what I'm going to say is going to be completely appreciated, but that's okay. Maybe I probably shouldn't do it for this particular series, but hey, it's what I was thinking, so I'm just going to share. So we'll get to it in just a second. Hang on, let me go here to go to webcast really quick. All right. Maybe I probably shouldn't do it for this. Okay, that looks good. All right. All right, we'll look at everything here. I think I've got everything. Where's the tab? Hang on. Okay, I thought maybe it just disappeared. Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. Let me go back here. North Carolina, not the entire state, but the one person in North Carolina who's tuning in. Thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate that. And we'll get started here. Got a lot of things I need to do today. I don't know. I'm conflicted in what to do today, but we will see. I have, you can have a million ideas, but how to make everything work, that's always the question. All right. Are you ready? Let's do this because this will be pretty quick and we can get this done. But I hope I can make it somewhat interesting. I know what I'm going to say is probably not going to, I know it's probably going to offend some people, but that's okay. All right. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, we go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, October the 31st. I wonder if that day has any significance. I wonder. Which direction should we go? It is Friday, October the 31st, 2025. It is currently 10:20 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. I'm kind of laughing because of something that happened. I don't know if anyone else will find it funny. I don't know. Maybe my thoughts are... Maybe because I have kind of a dark sense of humor. I don't know. You can determine if you think it's funny. But here is what's going on. First, let me just ask you a question. Have you been looking at the Sermonaudio.com website today? Have you? Have you scrolled down and look at the radio tab and do you see something interesting there? Because I discovered it at around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was like, wait, what? And then I had kind of some dark humor thoughts, and we'll talk about all of that. This is another episode in our series, The Sermonaudio Daily, where I turn on the microphone and talk about what's going on the Sermonaudio platform, whether that's the Sermonaudio.com website or the Sermons by Sermon Audio app. We talk about what's going on, and I try to point you to different content to listen to. And yesterday, we talked about kind of an old feature that's been brought back called the Top Sermons tab. If you look at sermonaudio.com right now, you scroll down, you'll see Top Sermons. And if you look at the top sermons right now, the top sermons in the past 48 hours, number 1, Alistair Begg, Watch Your Doctrine and Training. And again, I'm very happy that Sermonaudio did not kick him off their platform because Alistair Begg was kicked off a number of Christian radio platforms. So that's good. He's there. He's number 1. Number 2 is Dr. James White. Wes Huff broke the internet. Number 3 is Dr. Albert Mohler. Number 4 is Paul Washer, Teach Us to Pray. Number 5 is Alistair Begg. Number 6 is Dr. James White. And so basically the same names that we talked about yesterday, still right there on the charts. We can talk about those top. I spent 40 something minutes talking, giving you all of my thoughts about this feature. There is good to it. There are certain things about it that may bother me. What I am hoping is I'm hoping the listeners that use the Sermonaudio platform, that they will continue to dig a little deeper into the library and not just go with the same couple of speakers over and over and over, but there's so much on the platform. Find the other stuff as well. Listen to the people who are not as popular, who their ministries may not be large or well-known or famous. They haven't reached celebrity status. Listen to the other stuff as well, because it would be good to see some of these smaller ministries make it to the top sermon list. It really would be. And I'm not even referencing me there. Okay? You maybe think, oh, that's a subtle way to get people to listen to you. No, it's not. The entire Sermonaudio daily podcast series is about me promoting everyone else. It's not about me promoting myself. So we talked about that. But if you'll go past the top sermon tab, and if you go down top sermons, then you have webcast, broadcasters, speakers, series, recent comments, and then you see it, the radio tab. And if you'll tap on the radio tab, you will see something. If you've been paying attention, you should be like, wait, where did that come from? First, you see Sermonaudio Radio 24/7, right? That's been there forever. We've talked about it. You should check it out. Underneath that, VCY America Radio. Now, VCY America Radio, their overnight program, I listened to it at different times. So at about 3 a.m. this morning, 3 a.m., early hours of Halloween 2025, right? I click on it because I want to listen to it. Now, I was using the Sermonaudio app, and for some reason it just kept spinning and it wouldn't play. So I'm like, what is going on? So I went back out, went to Sermonaudio Radio. It really wasn't. And I'm like, something's up with the app. So I went to the website. Things were working. I don't know what was going on with the app. But when I was looking at the app, all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. There's Sermonaudio Radio. Check. It's been there. VCY Radio. Check. It's been there. Then there's Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. That's relatively new. We've talked about it. But now there's a fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, wait, there was 3. Now there is 4. I'm like, oh, they added a new radio station. What could this be? And then I saw it. Puritan Radio 24/7. Now, I'm going to have to be honest with you here. I kind of started laughing. I'm like, it's the early morning hours of Halloween. And Sermonaudio has added a Puritan radio station. So this is what I said to myself out loud. Please don't get offended. I'm like, oh, I wonder what Puritan radio is going to sound like in the early mornings of Halloween. Is it going to be innocent women being accused of being a witch, and then we hear them led to the gallows and then hear them hung, right? Is that what? Okay, I know that's dark, but when I think of the Puritans, I cannot forget the horrible thing that happened in Salem. Okay, everyone knows I love the city of Salem, my favorite city on earth. If I could, I would live there. I would get a job as one of the tour guides for the walking tours, or I'd work in one of the museums because I absolutely love that place. And I've studied the Salem witch trials. I have an entire series on the Salem witch trials. In fact, I may be doing an episode today, about one of the particular women. Maybe do a couple. I could do one about the supposed curse. Okay, there's a lot of things I could do. So maybe we'll do a lot of Salem witch trial stuff today. But when I saw Puritan, I'm like, really on Halloween, right? Because if you think of Salem, Now, Salem is more known for Halloween than it's known for the witch trials in many cases. Like right now in Salem, if you were to go to Salem right now, and we're talking Salem, Massachusetts, the only Salem that matters, right? Sorry, all the other Salems, you don't matter. Salem, Massachusetts does. If you were to go there right now, I cannot even describe to you the number of people that's in Salem right now. You trying to even walk down some of those streets, it's just going to be shoulder to shoulder. And as it gets later, that place is going to be, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people in the streets in Salem tonight. So because everyone goes there for Halloween, and it's kind of become, the capital city of Halloween. And in some ways it's kind of like, why? But it's in a roundabout way saying, oh, you killed these women who were innocent. You accused them of being witches. Well, we're gonna just celebrate everything witches and Halloween, everything the Puritans would have hated. In some ways, it's kind of like a very rebellious thing. And in the other way, it's a smart move by Salem to make a whole lot of money. So, you can look at it a lot of different ways. So when I saw Puritan radio, I had to laugh. So here's the thing that's weird right now. And let me demonstrate to you. All right. So now on the app, hang on, let me just open up the app. Let me open up the Sermonaudio app because things were not working last night. All right. If you go to the Sermonaudio app, first of all, let me check something. They still, all right, on the Sermonaudio app, they do not have the top sermons feature there, which I hope they add soon, because that should be on the app. But if you go to where is it? They need a radio tab here we go. If you go to the home tab on the Sermonaudio app, and you go down to radio, you'll see all 4 radio stations. Sermonaudio Radio 24/7, VCY Radio, the Caribbean Radio Lighthouse, and then Puritan Radio. I'm going to click on Sermonaudio Radio 24/7, see if these... Okay, it's playing.
Vans and loaded them up completely with food. And then had to go back with a third trip with the van. And then had one of my...
Okay, that's Sermonaudio Radio 24/7. Now let me jump over to the new one. Puritan Radio... Oh, it's not playing on the app. It just spins. So on the app, it's not working. But let me go to Puritan Radio on the website.
Pantries in our network that will be blessed and benefit from this abundance and this surplus that we never expected.
It's identical to Sermonaudio Radio 24/7. So I don't know what's going on. It's the same thing. So they've got Sermonaudio Radio 24/7. They have Puritan Radio, but it's the exact same station. So I don't know currently what's happening. I'm assuming they've got something planned. There's going to be some announcement. I'm just curious, what is Puritan Radio going to be? Like, is it going to be just old Puritan sermons being read? That could be Puritan books being read. Is it going to be... Are they handing this over to AI? And AI is going to take old Puritan manuscripts, old Puritan sermons, and they'll use AI technology to read them. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know. Are they going to expand, refer to people as Puritans because they're a part of the Puritan tradition, but they're beyond what we would call the Puritan period of time? Is it going to be lectures about Puritanism? Is it going to be honest historical thoughts about the Puritans? I don't know. Is it going to be, hey, Cotton Mather was really a great guy? Okay, well, if you know about about the Salem witch trials, I would have, I have strong struggles with that. But so I don't know. They've added it, but currently it's the exact same thing. If you go to Sermonaudio Radio 24/7 or the Puritan Radio, it's the same. So I'm waiting for when they separate, when they take 2 different paths, and I'm curious about what they're going to sound like and what they're hoping to accomplish. But currently, under the radio tab, you now have 4 stations. I think that's fascinating because it gives you a lot of options. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. I still think Bible Broadcasting Network, BBN, would be perfect for Sermonaudio to feature. They should be able, I think BBN would be willing to work with them. Bible Broadcasting Network, very conservative radio. I think it would be a good feature. I think Sermonaudio should work with them, because I am almost positive BBN would work with them. I think they would allow them to use their feed. And so I think BBN, I think, gave me permission way back when we had a church app to have a tab that would open up directly to their feed. So I'm pretty sure they would allow them to do that. So, but yeah, that's 4 stations. I don't know which direction they're going to go. I don't know what they have planned for the Puritan Radio. I'm assuming it's not just going to be an additional feed of Sermonaudio Radio. And so I don't know what they have planned. I'm looking forward to knowing it, but I just wanted you to see it so you can be checking it out. It's Puritan Radio. Currently on the app, Puritan Radio does not work. If I go back to the app, I think all the other stations are currently working. Late last night, none of them were working. You see, here's Sermonaudio Radio 24/7.
Wanted his money. I said, "Sir, you're not a Christian, and I can only marry 2 Christians." He blew up. Who are you to tell me I'm not a Christian? I am a messenger.
Wow, they're playing Stephen Lawson. That's a little surprising. All Stephen Lawson's sermons have been removed, so that's interesting that they're playing Stephen Lawson on Sermonaudio Radio. That kind of surprised me. Steve Lawson has been removed from basically every area of the internet. So, all right, they're playing Steve Lawson on Sermonaudio Radio. That's a little surprising. Then VCY Radio is not working.
Oh, no, here we go. Our episodes. Give a gift of any amount to In Grace. Your gift is tax deductible. Your gift is...
All right, someone needing money. Understand that. Okay. Caribbean Radio Lighthouse. Hang on. It's working. And then Puritan Radio is not working. I like the artwork they have there for Puritan Radio. I mean, I don't know if it's an older radio model, but I don't think the Puritans had that. So Puritan Radio, you probably need something that looks Puritan, right? Not a radio. So I don't know. Women hanging from the gallows. Oh, I know. No, the Puritans are all great guys. Okay. All right. I'll do the artwork for your station. I'll do, I got pictures from Salem. All right. Of Proctor's Ledge, where the women were hung. I've got the actual memorial. I've got some very good pictures you could use for the artwork. I don't think that would probably go over very well, but it would look really nice. I've got some really good pictures. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. I don't know what's going on, but on Sermonaudio right now, there's 4 radio stations. I think that's awesome, especially if it will work inside the app, because then with the app, you have an entire library of millions of sermons. You have access to live webcast as they're playing, like my broadcast right now. And then you will have 4 24/7 radio stations. So that means when you open up the Sermonaudio app, you're like, I don't really know what to listen to. Click on one of the radio stations. Looking for a live webcast. Or just do a search for Theology Central. Because, I mean, how could you go? Okay, I'm joking. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's happening. I don't know. Also, I think it's gone by now. I told you there would be some of those Halloween messages showing up on Sermonaudio, and late last night there was a new sermon called Halloween, Trick or Treat. And so I was going to listen to it, but I was more fascinated by the new Puritan radio station that I could not get to play on the app. But then when I finally went to the website to get it to play, I'm like, it's the same thing as the Sermonaudio. Why are you doing? Stop messing with me. It's 4 a.m. Come on. So I'm assuming they will release a statement. I don't have, remember, the Sermonaudio Daily is just me, a user of the platform, trying to get people to use all of it. I have no connection. I'm not speaking for Sermonaudio in any way, shape, or form. So I don't have like any insight into what's going on. And even if I did, I doubt I would be allowed to say I'm assuming they will do their own press release. So at some point, I'm assuming on the news tab, they will say, hey, everyone, check out the radio tab. We have 4 radio stations streaming 24/7, offering a variety of content. Listen now, or something along those lines. They could do it in a much more professional way. So, yeah, for the Sermonaudio Daily, that's what I noticed. Okay. So, yeah, and you can check out, today, I would just say that over the weekend, follow the top sermon tab and just see. Let's just pay attention to it and see, is there a lot of movement there? Do you see, is it the same people over and over and over and over and over and over and over? And if it is, do you find it useful? And if it is, how do we break the listening habits of thousands of people on the Sermonaudio platform to say, hey, there are millions of sermons on there. You can go listen to something else. I don't think we'll ever change that habit. Same thing happens on music streaming services. It's the popular people who get all the streams, and some of those other bands never listened to, because people tend to just be drawn to what is popular. That's what they're drawn to, the celebrity. I know, I'm not saying that these ministers would refer to themselves as celebrities, but they look, here's what I know. If you can speak at a conference and people will pay $25, $50, $100, $150, $200 to get inside of that conference to hear you speak, whether you like it or not, you are a celebrity, okay? People are paying money to hear you speak. I'm hoping they're not paying money to hear the word of God taught, because I don't think people should be paying to hear the word of God taught. So if they're paying money to get into a conference, they're not paying for the word of God. They're paying for the celebrity who's teaching the word of God. I mean, there's no way to get around that. You can dress that up and say, oh no, this conference is about the glory of God. No, it's about making money off people's celebrity. There's no way to get around it. So, and many of those speakers have spoken at conferences where people pay money to get in. So you're paying money to hear the celebrity, because in many cases, what they're teaching is taught by other people on the internet who are unknown, and they're not charging anybody any money to hear them speak. So, yeah. So, but we'll just see if it's going to be those same people, or if there's going to be lots of variety moving in and out of the top 48, or for the top sermons for the past 48 hours, not the top 48. It's the top 50. I believe it's the top 50. Let me look. Let me go to, oh wait, I can't get to top sermons on the app. They do need to get that fixed. Hang on. Where is it? Top sermons. It is the top 50. Yeah, it is the top 50. Oh, number 50. We do have a new entrant and someone new on the chart. Ken Ham, Rooted in God's Word. It has 120 plus plays. So it looks like if you want to be on the chart, you probably, to be safe, you need about 150 plays within 48 hours. If you can get 150 plays within 24 to 48 hours, you should be able to make it to the chart. That's the point. You've got to have 150. I think that's safe to make it. If you have over 150, you're probably going to be, maybe you can even make it in the top 40 if you can get there. So that's really the breaking point. So, if you're a broadcaster on Sermonaudio, what you would want to do if you want to make it to the chart is you would want to make sure you get an episode ready. And then when you drop that episode, you want to then spend the next 3-4 hours promoting it everywhere. On your church's Facebook page, your church's, if they have an Instagram, X account, wherever, Truth Social, whatever your church is using, and then promote it like crazy. Try to get as many people to listen to it as possible. And if you can get that 140, 150 mark, boom, you're on the chart. And once you're on the chart, more people will discover you. And then hopefully then you'll increase the number of people listening to you. So if you really want a marketing strategy, it's kind of what you have to do. You got to make sure, okay. And you want to tell your congregation, hey, If you're not here or if you want to listen to one of the sermons, when we upload it, if you'll listen to it right then and download it right then, and we can get to about 140, 150 of downloads and streams, we can make it to the chart. And then that gives us greater visibility. So, yeah, there you have it. So, Sermonaudio now has 4 radio stations. We don't know what they're doing with Puritan Radio, but I'm assuming at some point they'll figure it out. Currently on the Sermonaudio app, 3 of the stations play. Puritan Radio is not currently playing. So, and the radio stations had problems playing on the app earlier this morning. It looks like they've got that, for the most part, worked out. I don't know what's going on with Puritan Radio, but we will see. We'll keep our eyes and ears open. And if you're paying close attention to it and you notice, oh, they've gone to 24/7 Puritan content, here's what they're going to do, then let me know, and I'll turn the microphone on and let everyone else know. I know it's kind of easy to, I think it's worth telling everyone about. And I think the top sermon tab is worth having the conversation about. So there you have it. That's the latest from what's going on the Sermonaudio platform. I know I have not given you like sermons to listen to, but hey, we're gonna do things different every episode. So there we go. And it is the weekend. I don't, maybe I'll do a Sermonaudio daily tomorrow. I don't know. I always struggle with what to do for the weekends because there's so much going on. You could just hit the webcast tab on the weekends and you've got nothing but, thousands of webcasts happening around the clock. So you got so much new stuff is coming in. It's hard to know where to even begin, but we'll see. If I stumble upon something fascinating, I'll turn on the microphone and tell you about it. All right. There you go. Everyone have a great, Reformation Day for those who celebrate it. Halloween, I know Christians would say they don't celebrate it, but then you'll go to church and do your fall festival, which is Halloween. You can call it whatever you want, but it's Halloween, okay? Because it's weird that people are dressed up in costumes and you're handing out candy and you're playing games. It sounds like, I don't know if you're really celebrating the fall, okay? I think you're celebrating Halloween, all right. But that's a whole different podcast episode. All right, there you have it. I don't know what else. We're going to wait for Puritan Radio. I'm curious to see what it sounds like, all right? And speaking of the Puritans, I'll probably do an episode about the Salem witch trials. Maybe coming up relatively soon, all right? And we'll talk about how the wonderful Puritans took a 70-something-year-old woman. They killed her, all right? Yeah, so we'll talk about all of that. Thank you for listening. Everyone have a great day. God bless.